Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a little quick rehousing on my Caribena versicolor, also known as the Antilles pink toe. So this is a about 2.5 inch juvenile, and as you can see, she's started to outgrow her current enclosure. So I'm going to be rehousing her into a slightly larger enclosure from the spiderling container that she's in right now. So this is about half a gallon, and this is just a mainstays storage container that I bought at Walmart. As you can see, I've filled it about an inch with substrate, and I put a layer of moss on top as well. That's really about all that you need with a species like this. The thing to remember is your C versicolors, much like all the other pink toes, they are true arboreals. They are 100% from birth to death strict arboreal tarantulas. So unlike our Poecilotherias, our Somnopoeus, or even some of the arboreal baboon tarantulas out there that you could almost label as semi-arboreal, because they will from time to time come down to the ground and may even do a bit of burrowing as in addition to climbing. These very, very rarely will ever touch the ground at all. So substrate really isn't all that much of a necessity, at least not having a deep substrate. It is good to have a little bit in there, not only for aesthetic purposes, but along with the moss, the substrate can also provide moisture and humidity and also make them feel a bit more safe and secure. One key thing with this species, and this is something that I wish I had learned during my amateur days of tarantula keeping, but the C versicolor, along with pretty much all pink toes, it is very, very sensitive to moist, stuffy conditions within its enclosure. And this is why I've drilled so many holes into the sides of this enclosure, because good cross ventilation is an absolute must-have when it comes to keeping this species. You see, a lot of people get this idea in their heads that, well, pink toe tarantulas, they reside in rainforest canopies. They're from a tropical environment, so I need to keep their enclosure extra humid. And while that is true, they do come from a tropical climate. They are actually found up in the treetops, off the forest floor, which is where the majority of the humidity and moisture is going to be. Up in the trees where they reside, where they spin their webs between leaves and branches and such, there's almost a constant draft of airflow up there. And after it rains, most of the moisture that's up there from that rain does get dried up fairly quickly as a result of the constant airflow. So just something to keep in mind when it comes to keeping this tarantula alive and happy. Alright, so now we got the cork bark. This will provide something for her to climb on and anchor her web into. I've also put in some plastic vines to provide some additional web anchors for her. And then we got our little bottle cap, which will serve as her water dish. And I think we're just about ready. Oh, look who decided to go out for a stroll. Let's set this down here for a second. Okay. Now this is a pretty docile tarantula for the most part. They're a little skittish, but they're not at all a species that I'm concerned about being bitten by. And they are a new world as well, so the venom potency on them is pretty low. They can be a little quick, but nowhere near as fast as many of the other species you guys have seen me do rehouse videos on. But needless to say, I've got my paintbrush, and I've got my handy dandy catch cup here in case she decides to bolt. Go up, girl. Go up. Of course. You're not making this easy on me, though. Okay. Here's hoping she'll wander into her new enclosure without me having to coax her too much. Come on, girl. And that is why we always use a catch cup anytime we are doing a rehouse. Or any sort of maintenance for that matter. Perfect fit. There we go. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave this little container here, this transport container that I was using, secured to her new enclosure, and just let her walk out on her own whenever she's feeling comfortable enough to do so. Anywho, I think that about wraps it up for today's video, folks. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my social, including my Patreon. Links will be in the description below. And as always, stay awesome.